1 second, y'all. Why is it not letting me add Johnny on here? Give me a second, you guys. Hello? Can anybody hear me? Damn it, why is it that? Alright, there we go. Hold on, 'cause I got Johnny in the back. I'm trying to bring him up. Give me a minute. I might have to tell him to come back in. Oh, man. Give me a second, y'all. Hold on. Okay, guys. I am sorry about the technical difficulties. But anyway, it's your boy Darkstar. Today we are going to be revisiting Marvel Civil War. I don't know if anybody's read any of the old Civil War comic books from back in the early 2000s. I'm just waiting for Johnny to get onto this, get the invite, because I did send it to him. So there he is. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, Johnny. I know sometimes this shit acts fucking retarded, dude. Like,
it's all good. I was still in the middle of chewing on a breadstick anyway, so I wasn't ready.
oh my god. No comment. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm waiting on a freaking pizza, so yeah, I gotta wait on that. But anyway, yeah, today we're gonna get into the discussion of Marvel Civil War, the Marvel Civil War. I guess we can break down what side you would have picked, and ultimately, who do you think was right, who was wrong, and why? All that good shit. But yeah, did you get a chance to check it out, Johnny?
I checked it out, and I gotta tell you, I think I'm on the gray guy's side.
You're on which dude's side?
You know, the guys in gray.
Oh, you're on the gray
blue side.
It's hard. I mean, honestly,
no, it was a U.S. Civil War.
Not the U.S. Civil War, you dork.
No. For me, here's the thing. I gotta tell you that I did the comic historian thing and like I did a fast one that was like 14, and then I did the long one, but like I think I may have fallen asleep for like the last half hour or so.
Dude, you're good. The 14-minute one is pretty much the short, straight to the fucking point, and it's actually probably the better one anyway. I would have told you to do that one so that way you're not falling asleep.
Well, see, I liked a lot of the information that was going, but my thing as he was going is I'm wondering, did the comics depict it? Because like the way he made it seem, it's like that it seemed like the way he read it, he was very Iron Man, because like Iron Man was the one having remorse and second thoughts and putting thought into, and like and that basically Captain America went into it very pig-headed and all this, and I'm wondering if it's written quite that way or if that's in his interpretation. But either way, I'm Team Cap.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it kind of was written for the most part, you know. And even then, I would have been Team Cap too, in my opinion.
Yeah, even as he's reading it, I'm still like, I'm Team Cap.
Yeah, even though Iron Man brings up valid points. There are valid points of contention. However, I look at it like this, and this is something I've always said. Hypothetically, let's say if I had superpowers, right? If I have to register and reveal my identity to the government and SHIELD, even though, yeah, I'm getting paid and all that stuff, I'm getting benefits, but should I really do that all at the cost of my family's safety and the people that know me and their safety? Should it come to that? No. By no means, I don't think it should ever come to that. You know, that's why I was ultimately Team Cap, because if there was a way I can do it and keep my identity secret and not public with the if it's not public, everybody knows my identity, I'd be okay. You know?
See, and there was a few people taking sides in it that surprised me, and I think Spider-Man being the main one because he's the one whose family has come in danger the most because
I,
people found
yeah,
out who he was. And it's like that's why you don't tell people who you are. And it's like think about uh the US justice system just in the real world, how it is. It's like I remember in San Antonio, this has been maybe 7 years ago or so, but this young kid was gunned down in his truck at a gas stop because he saw a crime and he testified. And after he testified, that was that. There was nobody to give him protection. Um, and so the Mexican mafia guy he testified against, everybody
I
knew
heard
who he
about that.
was.
I
And
remember that
and
case.
yeah, dude, it sucked. And it reminded me because that's exactly what an episode of Boondocks says happens. Like the
Yep,
guy testifies, they walk out, the cops are laughing, they walk away from him, and he's gunned down right there
yep,
on the courtroom steps. It's like that's that, and
yeah,
I feel like that's exactly what you would get in Iron Man's America.
yeah. And ironically, that's pretty much what happened when Spider-Man did reveal his identity. Is that damn near every single supervillain was trying to gun for him, and Kingpin crossed the fucking line and had a sniper try to take out Spider-Man. The bullet missed and it hit Aunt May. And Aunt May was in the hospital. She was on the brink of death. Spider-Man pretty much defected from Tony's side. Not only that, but and yeah, hold on, give me a minute because this is one of my favorite parts in this whole fucking story arc. Spider-Man web slings all the way to the raft where Kingpin's being held. Takes off the mask and like his shirt, proceeds to beat the living fuck out of the Kingpin. And I mean, he bitch slapped the Kingpin multiple fucking times to the point where he said, just know this, at any given time, I can come in here and kill you. But you know what's worse than me killing you? Is humiliating you in front of everybody in this prison. And then dips out and everybody in the prison looking at Kingpin like he's a bitch. I saw that part. I was just like, God damn. Like I've seen Spider-Man go dark, but this was just like on a whole different level right here. And then there was that one part where he actually where he kind of slightly one-shots Iron Man by shooting a bunch of web and he traps Iron Man in it, which was actually kind of funny. But yeah, and that's what also led to the One More Day storyline, which, oh my fucking god. Every time I think of that storyline, I want to hit someone. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that storyline.
Only thing I've heard of it, and I know that it's hated, and I've considered looking it up just to figure out what they did.
Essentially, what they did is Mephisto said he would save Aunt May, but in exchange he wanted Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage. So yeah, of course they do that, which goes and resets Spider-Man's past, and his identity is secret again. And Peter and Mary Jane never get married. Yeah, that was a move that was hated universally by the comic book community.
And was Gwen brought to life this way?
No, Gwen was still dead.
Okay, so what did we get out of it?
We didn't get, dude. Exactly. The only reason that happened is I think it was Joe Quesada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe Quesada. He had like this fucking hate boner for Spider-Man being married, and he wanted Spider-Man to be a bachelor again. And it was like, no, the fans love Spider-Man being married to Mary Jane. Like, we love that shit. That's what we've been wanting for fucking Spider-Man. You know?
I mean, proven with when we were talking about X-Men and how happy we were and fans were that he finally found MJ out there in limbo.
Yes. That single-handedly proves that point. You know, we all love Peter Peter and Mary Jane. You know,
I
as
think
a
it's
couple.
something that comic writers don't always get is they feel like that the whole point of every single comic relation is to always have this push and pull and whatever. And it's like it'd be nice if there was a few that actually were just regular, where there wasn't infidelity, where there wasn't a love triangle, where there wasn't all this like, yeah, you're gonna have your normal fights, but it'd be nice to just have one or two couples that you think are gonna make the or that are gonna go the distance. And it seems like they always want to do that stuff, especially with like the couples, people tend to like most. Um, Mr. Fantastic and Namor and Sue, there's just all they always tend to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, crazy. Never understood it. Hang on, just a sec. Hold on, man. I gotta check something. Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to check where the fuck my pizza's at. But yeah, dude, like, I don't know, man. I guess that's just their way of trying to make stories more interesting. I mean, I'm like, at the end of the day, do what you do, but if it's something that you know the fans love, why take the momentum away? You know, like, and then this is like the problem, like that I've had with a lot of like just really comic book writers, and I've already been saying this for like what, a year and a half now. I've been saying this shit that it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's like, I don't get why a lot of these people that are coming into, like, these new writers coming in, they're like, oh, we need to fix this because we think this is problematic. Yeah, correction. You think it's problematic. Fans love it. But it's like, if you want to kill you want to kill comic book sales, that's how you do it. Go against the fans, because it's like, and I've never understood this whole dynamic with the whole writers wanting to fight the fans. Yo, have you noticed it's been like a thing for like the past couple years?
I feel like what it is like they're listening to the wrong fans. I mean, I think that they just go into because like some of the pages you get, they're too regulated, and you're only allowed to kind of have certain opinions. And I think that for the longest time, Twitter was especially that. Like you were not welcome if your opinion didn't meet this expectation, which makes me wonder now that Twitter's fallen apart. It's like, why aren't you going to other platforms and realizing there's a more diverse range of opinions than just these people?
Because they want a bunch of people that are yes men. Hang on a sec. Hold on a sec, dude. I'll be right back. I have a phone call real quick. Handle that shit real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
All right.
Hold on. There?
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry about that. That was the delivery driver.
that's all right. I gotta get up and check my chicken anyhow.
What were you saying, man, as far as like that whole thing with like the whole, oh yeah, with like all the different social media stuff. Yeah, you know what, bro? What it is, and this is just my opinion, I just think what it is that they want a bunch of people to be yes men. They don't want people to think for them fucking selves. They want people to agree with them all the time, so that way they feel like they're being validated. When in all actuality, all that shit is fake. It's fabricated. They want to feel like they can do no wrong and like they can make no mistakes. And like, man, I hate to be the one to say it, but like, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes along the way when you do these characters. I mean, let's not act like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby weren't making fucking mistakes when they were creating some of their comic book characters. You know what I mean? Let's not act like the editors in DC and Marvel back in the day were making mistakes. No,
One,
they were
one of the
making.
ones that comes to my mind is when they introduced the new Ghost Rider, right? Not Johnny, but the guy who comes after.
Danny
And
Ketch, his
then
half brother.
right, and then the like when they first made him brothers, people did not like that. They thought that was just like out of the blue, random bullshit. And I like it's probably taken on to people over the years, but that one was hated when it first happened. Wonder Woman no longer being Wonder Woman, hated when it, and that was fucking what, Danny O'Neill?
Yeah,
Like if Danny O'Neill can miss, bro, anybody can miss.
right. Yeah, that's facts. The hell is this? But yeah, not facts. Even in like, I always say like when it, you know, Jeff Johns has made fucked up books. We cannot act like Jeff Johns has done nothing but fire books. No, he's even made some bad books. You know what I mean? Frank Miller has written bad books. Case in point, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, which was fucking, oh my god, what, that book was ass. It was ass. Like, The Dark Knight Returns was good, and we were, like, everybody was expecting it to be like The Dark Knight Returns, and then when they got The Dark Knight Strikes Again, what the fuck was that? Yeah, it was a bad book. I'm gonna be honest about that. And I love Frank Miller. I'm a huge fan of his writing, but that was a bad book.
My question is do you need that to bridge over to Dark Knight 3?
Yeah, you kind of do. I hate to say it, you kind of do.
See, I
Because
think
the reason I say that is because it introduces a character that plays an important role in 3, and if you don't get that introduction to that character, then Dark Knight 3 is going to make absolutely zero fucking sense. You're going to be like, why the fuck did they shoehorn this fucking character? That's the first that's going to come to mind. But you do need it too because it also explains, you know, a lot of the Justice League members that show up in the book. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things. I'll tell you this much: the beginning of Dark Knight Strikes Again was good, and then it fell off a cliff midway through. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah. And normally I'm used to shit falling apart, but it typically happens at the end.
Yeah, no. Middle of the book, it started to fall apart because I didn't know what like. It was just one of those things. It's like, how do you make this work? You know, it was just weird. It just got weird midway through the book. But I can say this much: the beginning of the book was badass. The part when and I'm just gonna spoil this part. I don't care because you can always go read this online. You can even find fucking scans of this shit. But there was a part where Superman's trying to ask Batman for help, right? And you have, I'm trying to remember which Justice League members. It's the Atom, the Flash, and I think Green Arrow. Yeah, Green Arrow. They proceed to beat the fucking brakes off of Superman, right? And right when Batman shows up, he's like, "Bruce, I need to talk. I just want to talk." Batman puts on these gauntlets, beats the living shit out of Superman. After he beats his ass, he's like, "Talk's over. Now get the hell out of my cave." I was like, "God damn." That's typical Batman for you if he's paranoid, you know? But like I said,
Especially when it's written by a paranoid fucker.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Frank Miller is pretty fucking paranoid. That's a paranoid motherfucker. I'll be honest about that. Yeah. Oh, but they didn't tell you what happened I didn't tell you what happened at the end of Civil War, huh? Because I told my girl what happened at the end when she saw the little cliff note. She was actually kind of shocked. So what happens at the end of Civil War? Cap gets assassinated by Sharon Carter. Yes, Sharon Carter, Peggy Carter's daughter, assassinates Captain America at the end of the book. But then you find out Captain America. Oh, ugh. So yeah, what happens is Bucky takes over the role of Captain America, and then you find out Steve Rogers isn't dead. his body was dead, but they did that shit where the body's dead, brain trapped in time bullshit.
Mm.
Yeah. So he was trapped in time. They pulled him out of time and they brought him back. They did that shit. You know how that shit works. They did it with come on, they did it with Batman.
Now, here's my. How long after Civil War did that happen? Was that immediate?
No, it's like a year and a half after Civil War. Because Bucky had his own run as Captain America. The sales didn't do too well. Not saying it was a bad run. It actually was a good run. I thought it was a good run. But again, it's because the sales started tanking, so they brought back Steve Rogers. Which kind of goes to show that, like, no matter what, you can't replace Steve Rogers as Captain America. You just can't do it.
So that brings me into something that was because, like, this is something that's been bugging the shit out of me about nerds right now. Is just how much they're hating on the fact that it's not Bucky who's Captain America, but instead it's Sam. And I'm just like, my thing is I want to say in this story, I could have sworn I saw the Winter Warrior or the summer. What the fuck is his name? The Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. I could have sworn I saw Winter Soldier in the group of bad guys. Like, isn't this before these two became the same character?
Winter Soldier already is. Yeah, it happened at some point. It might have been way before he became Captain America. Way before he became Captain America. Hold on one sec, because I was on Crunchyroll. I was having my girl watch Apple Samurai. What's up, babe? Take what off? Okay, go ahead. Do you think? Yeah, but what was I gonna say? But yeah, like what happened was, Bucky was part of the I think he was part of the Thunderbolts at one point. I can't remember. I think he was, because at first he was dead, and then he did come back as Winter Soldier. The whole brainwash shit by Hydra, breaks the brainwashing, kind of becomes like a freelance, like, he does his own freelance shit.
Right, but wasn't the whole brainwash story, like, didn't that happen after all the stuff we're doing?
No, that happened way before.
Fairly recent.
No, that happened way before. Because remember, Bucky was dead. Because he was Captain America's sidekick, and he was thought to have been dead. That's why.
Yeah,
because I remember. Huh?
The timeline was supposed to be a little screwed up, because I thought, like, I thought he's only been Winter Soldier for, like, maybe 12 years or so.
It might have been some shit like that. Well, you mean like in general? No, he was still Winter Soldier
in real life. I'm talking in our world, not their world.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay, I got you. You're talking MCU. Gotcha. I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because, like, the thing is I want to say this story that we're reading takes place or was written in, like, what, 2006?
Something like that.
And so, like, when I'm watching it, I'm seeing the Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier beforehand was an altogether separate character that they didn't really do anything with, and then basically Bucky is nothing but a Robin ripoff through and through again, because he's sidekick, and then he's killed off, and then he's brought back to life, attached to a previously existing villain that they're now doing something more with.
No, that was Red Hood. That was Jason Todd. Winter Soldier was his own character. That was like the original intent, was to make Bucky Winter Soldier. That was the whole point. They did that intentionally, because he was the only one that was Winter Soldier. Yeah, there wasn't another Winter Soldier. He was the only one.
No, man, go back and play Marvel's Ultimate Alliance and go see when you fight Winter Soldier. That's not Bucky.
Oh, Ultimate Alliance, bro. I was going to say, Ultimate Alliance, that's a whole different universe, because they loosely base shit off of the comic. You know what I mean? It's a loose adaptation. Now, Winter Soldier has always been Bucky in the comics. It has always been Bucky, because there was this whole thing where Cap had this thing in the back of his head, like, how the fuck does this dude know my fucking moves and shit like that? Then that's when, you know, he put two and two together. Then Winter Soldier even revealed he was Bucky. Yeah, that's always been a thing, man. Yeah, now I need to go back and go play freaking Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I gotta see that shit. Because I haven't played Marvel Ultimate Alliance in a while. But yeah, Bucky's always been he's always been Winter Soldier. Yeah. I don't know why they did that shit in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That's some weird shit. Some really weird shit. Yeah, really weird.
It says here, as Winter Soldier, Captain America 6 of 2005.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they revealed later on that it was Bucky. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with like Enter the Red Hood bullshit, which is where Enter the Red Hood got its inspiration from. Let's be honest. The whole Red Hood storyline got its inspiration from Captain America and Winter Soldier. Like story arc. That's where they got it from.
What was I gonna say?
Sorry about that.
So I must have had my time backwards because I thought that Red Hood came first.
I'm pretty sure Winter Soldier came first. I could be wrong. I could be dead ass wrong, dude.
I don't know, but then again, I could also be wrong because I get a little turned around sometimes.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I'm saying. I'll double check, dude, because I honestly forgot who came first. I want to say it was Winter Soldier first before Jason Todd Red Hood. I heard I wanted to, but I could be dead ass wrong, dude. Because I always forget when Enter the Red Hood when that book came out. It's like, when you go through too many fucking comic books, you can't remember the goddamn timeline and shit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I just can't. I'll read whole comics, and 4 years later, I'll look back and be like, I don't remember any of it.
Yep, exactly. I get like that too. There was like one book. What book was it that I did read and I couldn't remember much of it? Might have been Watchmen. I think I was reading Watchmen one time, and there were some events I didn't remember, and I know my girl was asking me questions about the Watchmen, and I couldn't remember some of the events. Yeah, I think it was Watchmen. Man, I always forget, but yeah. And dude, but that was just fucked up that they killed off Goliath, bro. That did piss me off.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, as Red Hood, February of 2005.
That's what I'm saying. You could be right. That's what I was saying. Like, you could be right on that.
Well, but see, at that point, neither of them would be a ripoff because they're so close together. Like, it would have just been the fact that two people happen to have the same idea. Unless it's like what you were saying, where like they introduced that story in there but didn't tie it back to there till later. I don't know. I'll have to do more research.
Yeah, I'll do some. Yeah, because I'll probably do some digging too. I'll do some more digging on that one.
But anyway, back to the thing at hand.
Yeah, that was fucked up that Reed Richards made that fucking clone, dude.
The character that I got excited to see and then immediately had like all my stuff dashed was what the hell is his name? The Battling Bantam, because I had that stupid comic book as a kid, never opened it with the trading card in there. And when I saw him in there for a moment, I'm like, all right, dude. Like you see this character back, and then they kill him off like all of 30 seconds later. And I'm like, you filthy lowlives.
They be doing that disrespectful shit, dude. I hate that bullshit.
I found it hard to believe that Luke Cage would be on the side he was on. Like, as just the ultimate representation of angry Black America. This motherfucker's like, nah, bro, we need government.
No, he was on Cap's side. What are you talking about? Yeah, Luke Cage was on Captain America's side because he was part of the Secret Avengers with Captain America. He agreed with Captain America 100%.
No, I thought he started off because like there's a whole scene that the guy breaks down where he starts off. I think he's one of the ones that switches sides.
I think. Let me double check because I always forget, dude. Because I always remember Luke Cage being part of the Secret Avengers too. I was like, I gotta go. I might go back and read that shit. I might go back and read it one more time. But I was pretty sure that he was on Captain America's side the whole time. And if he switched, I can understand why. If he was on Iron Man's side, I do understand why.
I mean, it's also different from him when like a lot of times he's just Luke Cage.
Yeah. And like, I understood why some people switch sides too. Because ultimately, what made people switch sides was again the death of Goliath. You know, when Richards made that fucking Thor clone and that clone killed Goliath.
Yeah, it just tore through his chest.
Yeah, I was like, y'all some assholes for that.
And they had to bury him big because he didn't have time to shrink down.
Yeah, I was fucked up. Dave, case in point, Ant-Man in the freaking Wolverine movie, in the Deadpool movie. You do know about that, right?
I don't got any kind of spoiler or anything. So like, if it's in a trailer or something, I don't know
about it. Yeah, it was actually in the trailer. The base that they walk into is Ant-Man's head. Yeah, that's where Cassandra Nova's holding everybody's, and that's her base, Ant-Man's head. And then he made a joke about, "Oh, Paul Rudd, you finally aged." I was like, "You fucking bastard!" But yeah, I mean, sorry, that's on my team. But overall, I mean, I thought the first Civil War II was a pretty solid book. Civil War II was ass. That book was ass. The less I talk about it, the better. But what I think ultimately sucked about Civil War is that it was also one of the last times you got to see Carol Danvers be a fucking badass character. You know?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Nah, after that, then she went hyper feminist, and yeah, we know how that ended. Yeah.
Of course, they had to get a hyper feminist to play her, and then they're like, "Why do people not like him?" Like,
and let's not forget, you had a hyper feminist redo the character, and then she said famous last words. You remember those famous last words that she said, and it tanked the entire first volume? If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Yeah.
Famous last words. Like, and that's what people are going to start doing when you fucking start fighting against a fan and you tell them they'll buy my book. That's what's going to fucking happen. Nobody's going to buy your fucking book, and then you're going to sit here with your fucking tail between your legs like, oh, how come nobody's buying my book? My sales are tanking. All you guys are a bunch of bigots. All this. Like, no. It's because you told them not to buy your book. That's literally what you said. Not get mad.
They did that with what movie recently? The Charlie's Angels reboot.
Yep, that was, and that movie didn't even look that good anyway. Like, if I'm being honest, it really didn't look all that good. Like, I wasn't even giving a shit to see it. Like, I was just kind of like, please bring back freaking Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and fucking Cameron Diaz, please. Because what the fuck is this shit? What the fuck even is this shit? You know?
Oh, but to my point earlier, is like, okay, so Barnes was a cool Captain America, but he only lasted X amount of time.
Right.
What's his name? Walker. James. It's something Walker, right?
Yeah, John Walker.
John Walker. How could I not think John? Anyway, this motherfucker lasted a lot longer as Captain America, and I always go back to like, it was in what 60 something that they introduced Falcon as his as Captain America's partner. It's like
Yeah,
Falcon ultimately was there longer because Barnes was written out for such a huge gap. I just looked it up. He was written back in '05, so like
mm,
I guess just neither was a rip off parallel thinking, but still it was like from 2005 to like the 80s, he was gone for like 20 damn years.
yeah.
And before that, he was just the sidekick, and it's like it's cool that he had this run, and it's not to say that we won't see, especially since you have this other Captain America still running around, US agent. And
Yeah,
who's to say that it's not all going to come back one day and you're going to get to see him in the costume and it's going to be cool? But it's like, to me, he's still going through shit. He's still got all kinds of PTSD things. It doesn't make sense for him to be the guy to pick up the shield. It makes sense that the guy who's been his partner all these years, acting as his lieutenant, picks up the shield. And it's like, everybody's hating on this movie coming up because they want it to be Bucky, but it's like by shitting on this movie and it failing, you're going to make sure you don't see any more Bucky because it's all rounded off of these characters. You're going to, if this doesn't do good and Thunderbolts doesn't do good, it's like these things just it's you're going to get less of what you want by just shitting on it.
personally, for me, Falcon is Falcon. Sam Wilson is Falcon. Now, I look at it like this: if you kind of wanted to do a replacement Captain America, you do know Steve Rogers wasn't the first Captain America, right?
Well, I mean, going back to what?
Yeah. No, they retconned it. Steve Rogers wasn't the first Captain America. It was actually Isaiah Bradley because he was the test subject for the Super Soldier Serum, and he did go around as he did have those on Captain America suit. You remember Isaiah Bradley, right?
Yeah, he's the old man.
Yeah. And I think what would have been better is they could have used his grandson as Captain America. It would have made more sense. That would have been more of passing the torch. Because even his grandson ended up like first his grandson was part of the Young Avengers. He was a patriot.
Well, see, I was
And
just about to say that's what I'd almost rather see is for him to be introduced as Patriot first,
yep,
as a
yeah,
especially because like the way Captain America was kind of just out for so long, it's like he wouldn't have had time to have like brought that kid up and all that. But like the way they're introducing it and the way they introduce it in the series, it's like now that character suddenly has legs. And like I said, my thing is like I just like the trajectory of the way the story's going because I think it gives us the most out of it. Versus if you give it just to Bucky, I feel like we're losing, you know, stuff. And to your point, it's like, yeah, in normal standard comics, I prefer Falcon be Falcon, Steve be Cap, and that be that. But we also got to think like, dude didn't want to be Captain America anymore. The actor left. You got to make do with what you have.
yeah. No,
And
I
it's
agree
like
with that.
when you look at the story, it's like, yes, it is down to these two guys, and it's just to me, I think Sam was the better fit for that character. Everybody's trying to make it seem like it's a diversity play, and I'm like, this is the one fucking time it wasn't a diversity play. This is the time they did it because it fit the story.
I mean, me personally, I just didn't really care. I just didn't care. Like I said, for me personally, when I look back in retrospect, I kind of just don't even care anymore. Granted, I hated Sam Wilson's run of the comic book, still do to this day. I hated his run as Captain America. I don't know, it's just probably the writers. Personally, like, as far as the MCU, they can do what they want with that. Like, I'm already over it. And to your point, I do understand, like, with Bucky, I wouldn't have even said have Bucky be Captain America. That wouldn't have made any sense. Not any fucking sense in the sense of it, because, I mean, he still is atoning for his fucking sins. He's still atoning for his fuck ups and all his mistakes. You know what I mean? So it's
And
like to put a character, to have someone be Captain America that's that flawed, which I'm not saying being flawed is a bad thing, but to be that flawed, it wouldn't make any sense.
Right, and that's kind of what my point is. Like the fans treat it like a popularity contest, and it's like, dude, what serves the story? And it's like what we were saying last week, where it's like, people want to integrate their politics, and it's like, serve the story first, do the other crap later. And it's like, to me, this is the one time the storyline is like, yeah, it should probably go this way instead of this way because this guy's dealing with this and yada yada. And
Yeah.
then the story, and it's like, if you can integrate some stuff into that you feel like saying, go on ahead. But and it's like, but people are just judging it based on, it's like, which is one of the things, like, I say, like, when they make when they overdo the whole making characters black thing, it's like then you miss the ones that fall through the crack that actually work because everybody just prejudges it, think, oh, this again, they roll their eyes and they walk off.
Yeah,
And
and I understand why they do that too, because there's this big push by a lot of these companies to push a lot of DEI, and it's like they put it literally into every single piece of media that they put out. So I can understand that because it's like a lot of times people think DEI does help. I think to a certain extent it does, but not really because, and I'll give you a prime example right now. 'Cause remember how we were talking about Assassin's Creed last week?
right.
So here's something that they just added on that just basically is going to probably tank their sales. Now they're going to make Yasuke gay. Yes. Now they're making Yasuke gay.
So now the few black dudes who were all gung ho for this suddenly don't want to be a gay ninja.
Yeah. And it was just like, me personally, I'm kind of like, I'm a bow out of that one because I hate to be an asshole. You don't have to have an LGBT representation in every single piece of media you do. Just like you don't always have to have, you know, racial diversity in every single piece of media. It's getting to the point where it's being overdone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the fact that it's overdone makes it to where the few times where it's done right gets overlooked because, like, Mr. and Mrs.
Mhm.
Smith just got another season, and it's everybody who's seen it saying a lot of great stuff about it, but everybody, everything leading up to it, and even now there are still people rolling their eyes at it because, oh, well, it's just, the same thing everybody else does, reboot with black people, blah blah blah. But it's like, okay, but they clearly brought something good to the table, something new to the table, if this many people are saying something about it. And so it's like something as good as that gets overlooked by the fact that so many other people are doing the exact same thing, that you get judged based on all this other crappiness. And so it's like that pendulum swinging the other way is going to become important because there are going to be times when you'll look at something and you'll say, hey, look at this old media, isn't this great, but don't we need to upgrade it and do something with it? And then now, because you're just trying to basically turn it into Power Rangers, you're trying to bring it up to 1993, but everybody
Yeah.
feels like you're trying to make it 2023, and it's like, and it's like, it can, by overdoing it, it's hurting other things, and it's ultimately going to hurt your own stuff.
Yep, that is true.
Because,
Me,
like,
I
I
didn't
think,
watch Mr. and Miss. I was gonna say I just didn't watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith just because of the simple fact that at the end of the day, I wasn't really a super huge fan of the movie. You know?
I'm I didn't watch it because I'm not into that kind of I'm just not into that kind of show. But it goes back to, my Mario Brothers argument about the movie. It's like, you're allowed to hate on something, blah blah blah, but when you notice that you're wrong, maybe stop hating on it. And it's like,
Yep.
I'm not going to go and watch this thing just to see if everybody's right when they say it's good. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say, hey, everybody says this is really good.
Yeah.
You know, how do you
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. Because honestly, yeah, and I look at it like this, man. Did everybody ever stop to think that, like, all these people that are really pushing for DEI and everything, you ever stop to think that's what killed some of the ratings for X-Men 97? Just a thought. Just a thought, because if you think about it, Disney's been throwing DEI in literally every single piece of media that they put out there. and it's kind of gotten to the point where Disney even got called out on it. You know, they've gotten called out on it, and they still deny. But then when they put out something that's actually legit good, nobody wants to watch it because they're sick and tired of having a whole bunch of DEI stuff thrown into their media. They just want to enjoy a good show.
And see, that's what everybody is fearing is going to kill the Acolyte
Mhm.
from, the Star Wars. And which my thing is, I'm going to watch it, and if it turns out to be bad, it turns out to be bad. But my problem is like if it turns out to be truly awful, there will come a point where I'll just cut it off. There's
I mean,
some stuff out there like well, maybe that's not true because She-Hulk was really bad, but I gave it hope until the very end. But like
I fell off that. You're a stronger man than me because I fell off of episode 4 or 5. You're a better man than me.
dude, I wanted so bad to love it.
Same, I did
was-
too.
I like that was like Cree Summer was the perfect She-Hulk, and when that's your girl growing up, and she's brought to life. It's like you want it to be good. You want it to be your childhood brought to
Exactly.
life.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wanting. Dude, when I was like heard She-Hulk, I was like, okay, so we're gonna get like 97. We're getting to like the 90s Hulk vibe. We're getting like comic book She-Hulk vibe. This wasn't shit like it. If anything, only thing they did is they probably read like a couple John Byrne books, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go with it. They probably maybe read like 2 or 3 books.
And people keep trying to go back to, oh, it's super accurate to this. I'm like, her personality is not accurate to that. You can have a couple storyline plots that you take and say this is accurate to it. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. But it is not accurate to that character's personality in the slightest.
Yeah, you name me one time that Jennifer Walters shit on Bruce Banner. Name me one time when she shit on Bruce Banner and his experience and the shit he went through. Name me one time.
And like the way in which she's open with her sexuality is completely different than the way in which Jennifer, the She-Hulk we know, is open with her sexuality. Like, and it's yes, the character is open with her sexuality, but that means different things. Because Marilyn Monroe was open with her sexuality, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
So was Betty White. The way you do it means something different.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to portray Betty White, on a train grate with her dress blowing up or singing "Hello, Mr. President," like that would not be accurate.
Right. Like everybody act like She-Hulk was like 100% in her hoe phase. I'm like, I would say like in the late 90s, early 2000s, sure, but that wasn't her 24/7. You know?
Yeah, like, I mean, I didn't. And then they kept trying to argue, oh, it's a lawyer show, but then why didn't they do any good lawyering? Why was the only good lawyer scene fucking Daredevil?
Oh, dude, don't even.
Hire Ally McBeal writer or something.
Yeah, and what's funny is I watched a show where there was a lawyer that where a lawyer actually reviewed some of the shit from She-Hulk, and he even picked that show apart and even said that the lawyering on that show was like, what the fuck? Yeah, he was picking that show apart. Like it was embarrassing. Like he even said if you wanted to make this a good lawyer show, you should have at least had some law consultants on the show to help write the motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's bad, and like, but here's the thing, like going back to the Acolyte, it's just like I'm holding out hopes that if they do fuck it up, that they don't fuck it up by too much, and that I can, because like as much as I didn't like Solo, I still watch it every 2 to 3 years. As much as I didn't like 7, 8, and 9, every December or so, I get in the mood to start marathoning Star Wars, and once I start, I just keep going. And so it's like, even if it's not that great, like you don't have to do a whole lot for me to just be okay with it. You do got to do a whole lot for me to be in love with it.
Right.
but like I roll with it as best I can. I hate Star Wars fans the most out of any of them, and so
Oh,
I try hard not to be like them because that is the thing I love the most out of anything.
yeah,
And out of any Marvel, out of any anime, out of any whatever, like my top ranking anything is going to be Star Wars.
that's
And it's
fair.
and I'm just like I hate the level of toxicity of Star Wars fans. Like going like look at when Rosario Dawson was announced as Ahsoka.
Oh, bro,
People
I was for that.
Dude, everybody wasn't for it. Everybody was in favor of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When it finally happened, everybody's happy except these little fuckers who they see everybody else happy and suddenly they have to have a problem. And so they come all, how come Ashley Eckstein couldn't have done it? And she would, and everybody's typing and it becomes a whole online controversy. So then somebody goes and asks her, hey,
Yeah,
Ashley, how would you have liked to have played the part? She goes, I just had a baby. I don't want to do that.
the fuck?
And it's
Yeah,
like, all these fans get so whatever, and it all stemmed from, oh, are other fans enjoying this? Let me no longer enjoy this.
yeah,
And
that's kind of
it's the exact same thing with like anything to do with Mandalorian. Too many other people are enjoying it, so that must mean it's not whatever Star Wars, and people are just suddenly hating it because it's too liked. And I'm like, I don't have time for you. It's either good or it's bad. And
yeah.
so far, everything Dave has done has been well. I'll take that back. The ending to Bad Batch 3 was a little meh.
Yeah, I didn't even get to watch that yet. I wanted to watch. I'll probably end up checking that one out because
I mean,
sometimes I watch a little Star Wars here and there. I'll probably end up checking that one out. Mandalorian. I'm gonna say this: first two seasons fucking solid. Third season, I kind of fell off on that one. I'm gonna be honest. I did fall off from the third season. I don't know why. Just something about the third season. The vibes felt off. Not saying Mandalorian was a shit show. I fucking love that show. I fucking love the Mandalorian. You got me fucked up. Like Mando is my dude, you know. So yeah, like I do understand the point of contention where you got people like saying like, oh, they hate the fucking show and shit like that, and they just have no reason to really hate it.
or
Like
even
it,
that, like, if you hate it that much, just get off the ride. If you hate The Mandalorian, if you hate the new ones, if you hate this and you hate the shit that's coming out, get off the damn ride.
that's what I did because after the Last Jedi, I quit watching Star Wars movies. I'm not joking. After the Last Jedi, I didn't even bother with the Rise of Skywalker. I didn't even bother with it.
And
Because
see,
because the Last Jedi pissed me off so much that I wanted to walk out of the movie like maybe 3/4 of the way through the movie. I was about to walk out, and it's nothing. And it's like I said, it's like the one thing is nothing personal. It was just some of the writing choice. I questioned some of the writing choices, like some of the directions that it started going in the entire movie. I started to question a lot of it. You know what I mean? And that's why I kind of fell off of it. You know, and that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah, and it's okay to fall off it. Like, I'm not sitting up here bashing Star Wars, saying, "Oh, Star Wars is fucking ass," because I'll
and
still
see,
go back.
that's the thing is, I'd rather you say, well, oh, this sucks so much. I hate it. I'm done with it, and you be done with it, than say all that, and then the next movie comes out, and you're
Yep,
ragging on it, leading the whole way into it, and the moment you
yep.
get out, you post your scathing blog review that you walked in with half written, and it's just like, if you're done, you're done, man. Like when I was done with DC, I was done.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if it, I'm looking at Marvel as it stands, and I'm like, guys, think I'm going to give you a couple more shots, but I think I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
starting to fall. Yeah, because that's how I'm starting to feel with Marvel. I'm starting to like really fall off a lot of their shit right now.
yeah, like I'm not in love with what you're doing, and even and I've said it before, every time you see people in the comments saying which ones they love, it's so sporadic. What movies
Yeah,
you love, most people used to land kind of on the same ones. The hated movies kind of landed on the same ones. You'd have a few outlier weirdos, but the points mostly matched up on the board. But when it comes to these series, it's like we're all over the place. And as much as I love the ones I love and don't like the ones I don't like, my lists are so different than everybody's. And it's
Yeah.
like that's how sporadic these things are. The only one that seems to be doing universally well is Loki, and it took season 2 to make that happen. It took a completion to make
Yeah.
that happen.
And I will say this: when it comes to the Marvel movies, Captain America and the Winter Soldier was the best Marvel movie ever made. Can't change my fucking mind about it. Fuck you guys. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, it was the best one. But nah, but I get your point, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah, see, I
like,
think Captain America just had the perfect trilogy. I don't think anybody else,
dude,
even with
facts.
as good as the um, Guardians of the Galaxy third one turned out to be, the second one was just it was an 80. The other two was like it was like a solid. I'd say it's like a 98, 95 for the first one. 95 for the third one, but I'm giving the middle one an 80 versus when you look at Captain America, I'm going straight A's across the board.
Oh, facts. Because I can't really think of really any Captain America movie that was bad. You know, I
Yeah,
can't
and
think.
it makes you apprehensions for the new one, but it also makes you hopeful that it's still going to be good. Like I don't want the things I like to be bad. Maybe I'm weird for that.
No, that's not weird. And I just think like with some of the choices that they're making with some of the choices they're making in the movie, I do kind of question it a little bit. Like I know they're trying to add Red Hulk and shit into the movie. I'm kind of like, or is there really like a point to adding Red Hulk, or are we just shoehorning Red Hulk in?
I mean,
You
I'm
know,
okay with it if they're building up to something bigger in terms of the Hulk situations, because like
exactly. That's the
we
point
got
I'm getting at.
Scar, we have for better or worse, we have
But
She-Hulk,
time
Abomination
out,
still running around.
time out. But is that really Scar though? Is
Well,
it
we got
really
something.
though?
We got
Yeah, I'm not
something at
joking.
any
I'm
rate.
fucking like for real. Like I'm sorry. I had to say it. I had to question it, bro. I had to do it.
But I mean, if it's starting to build up, the leaders coming in, and it's like if that's where it's all going to start branching off to, and we're going to get a good Hulk movie or a worthwhile Hulk series, I'm all for it. But it's just like don't build up something really awesome and then let us down.
Dude. I'm like that's never happened before.
And
You know,
yeah, it's just like,
broken
and it's so.
multiverse.
What movies have been good? All right, I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy was good.
Yeah, first
Um,
one was phenomenal.
which was?
The first Iron Man.
No, I'm talking of just like the new phase stuff.
Oh,
Like
New Space, dude.
yeah, just like the newer phases, everything after Endgame.
Ooh, it's gonna be hard. That's a really short list.
I liked the
Um,
second Spider-Man. I didn't like the first, but I did like the second.
I didn't mind Far From Home, but No Way Home was the shit. That was the shit. Um, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was good.
And see, I
Shang-Chi
would
was
put
okay.
Marvels on the list, but I don't think anybody's going to ride with me on that one.
I wasn't a big fan of it. And that's the part I tried to go in there. I tried to like it. I really tried to like it, and it just wasn't for me, man. Now I'm okay with that. I'm okay to say that movie was not for me. That's okay.
And but I mean, of the ones that people can consistently say on the list, it's like it seems like it's just those two, Guardians 3 and Spider-Man. Did I miss anything? Because like
I put Shang, I
people
put
didn't
Shang.
care for the Thor. Oh, Shang-Chi, of course. That yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
everybody
Thor
loves
was that.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Thor was that.
Eternal should have been like a show, a big budget show. It should have had just as many
Thank
episodes
you.
as it had, because like you're introducing so many characters. You need time to layer and build these characters. It
And,
should have
and,
been
and
a big budget show.
it's not so much that there's so many characters. You're throwing in so many new elements, and it's like you have to compact. You have to take all these new elements that you're trying to introduce to the masses, and you're compacting it to a 2-hour movie. No, people's attention span don't work that well. You gotta put that some shit like that. You gotta put into a show. I'm sorry. That's something I would have done as a show. Moon Knight should have been a movie.
I think Moon Knight deserves a movie, but I like the way it unfolded.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm split on Moon Knight because there's some things I loved about it, and there were some things I didn't like about it. But overall, like, here's the thing: Oscar Isaac was like perfect casting for Moon Knight. I will say that the dude showed that he's got range.
I think that it was better for people who didn't know Moon Knight.
Right.
I think, but the other thing too of that is like that also means it was a good introduction because there's more to build on. It's like people are just now learning that there's a third personality.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. The whole time watching, I'm like, are they gonna bring the third personality into this shit at some point, or no? And then when they threw it at the after credit, I'm like, oh shit! Like, now I'm just kind of like, okay, now they need to do a second season or something because can't turn around
Especially,
and
I like the chick character that they introduced. I thought that was a pretty good character. That it wasn't like a shove it down your throat. Now she's here. Look how badass she is. Character. I was like, this fucking works. Egyptian chick, Egyptian stuff. She's got
like,
some armor.
yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Some people like were making a big deal out of this shit, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is y'all doing? Y'all doing the most right now, bro. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, auntie, chill. Like, doing the fucking most, dude. Like, Moon Knight was not that bad of a character. Was not that bad of a fucking show. I actually thought it was quite good. I'd watch it. Even though, again, like I said, there were some things with the show I was split with, but overall, I liked it. I actually liked it, and I actually wanted a season 2. You know,
Yeah, the only thing I can really say bad about WandaVision is to me it does not have good rewatchability because the first 4 episodes you're literally just watching a sitcom and it's like how many times can you see the same episode of Married with Children before you're kind of done with it?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the show's really good, but for me, if I'm going to rewatch it, I'll just go watch the final 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. I really love WandaVision, but to be fair, she's biased. She's a little biased because she likes Wanda. She likes Scarlet Witch, so yeah, she's a little biased. And that's fair.
And like I said, when that show first came out, I thought it was brilliant. The whole time they got me sitting there wondering, what the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening? What's going on? What's this? What's that? And like, it really kept me into it, kept me interested. But at the end of the day, it's like once you do know what's going on, once you know who that guy in the weird suit is, all that stuff suddenly not as exciting, not as rewatchable versus I've seen, with the exception of She-Hulk, I've seen all of them at least twice. But I will not rewatch She-Hulk.
No. Again, I was barely able to make it through the 5th episode. And I had to skip all the way to the last episode. The Daredevil episode, I watched bits and pieces of it, and then I fell off because they just started getting stupid. You know, it started to get dumb. I mean, I was hoping like they were gonna give it a little more of a serious tone. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But yeah, but I'm glad that they're bringing Daredevil back to the MCU about fucking time, along with the Punisher. And then Mike Coulter, you heard about what Mike Coulter said about Luke Cage, right?
Oh yeah, remember I commented, and then you replied to it.
Oh yeah,
basically for him, it's just he'll come back for a good script.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, for him to go from being in shape for the movies versus the show, he's really going to have to sacrifice. Like, he's in great shape, but he's not in Thor shape. You know what I mean? So it's like he's going to have to sacrifice a lot And then imagine going through all that, doing all the BS, being done with it, and then getting dragged back in just for it to be something that fans hate on.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, I, he was just awesome as that character.
Yeah, dude, facts. Luke Cage was the shit, man. That was my fucking show, man. Luke Cage was fucking badass, bro. Like,
And for me, it was my favorite. A lot of people, most people it's
yeah, same.
Daredevil. Most people it's Daredevil, but for me, like if I'm gonna rewatch it, I'll probably just rewatch Luke Cage and the Defenders, and that's about it.
Yeah, for me, if I had to put it in any order, I would put Luke Cage number 1. Then I would put Punisher number 2. Then Daredevil.
See, I'd go I'd go Cage, Punisher, Defenders, Daredevil, and I didn't even finish watching the final season of what's her name,
Jessica Jones.
Jessica. Yeah, I've watched the first 2, and each season I thought this should have been shorter. Like
Yeah,
there came a point where I felt like they was being dragged out, and I was like, this season could have been shorter. But
yeah. I didn't mind Jessica Jones. I thought it was a pretty good show.
I guess I can say the same. I didn't mind it, but I didn't like it enough that I'm like, especially because the series ends on hers, and I was like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, it really kind of fucked up to end it on her, but whatever. You know, I heard she might be coming back too. But
Yeah, I mean, they're especially because they're getting desperate and they don't. It's weird that they know they're doing something wrong, but they don't know what it is. So they're getting desperate and trying to bring back as much old stuff, but then they're not stopping doing the dumb shit that. And it's like, man, you guys got to figure it out.
yep, it's like I said, like I've been saying for like the longest time. Maybe they should, I don't know, listen to the fans. I'm listening to what the fan base is saying, you know? Just a thought. Because at the end of the day, it's like this. The fans are paying for your shit. They are the ones consuming your shit, hence why they are called the consumers. So, how about listen to the consumers, hear what they want, and then get into a meeting and then talk it over and figure this shit out. Because at the
And
end of the day,
you got to take the occasional risk, sure. You got to do something different, sure. But for the most part, you need to have most of your safe bets with a couple of your wild swings. You can't just
yep,
keep taking all these wild swings. Because, like, I would say that Captain America video game coming out, that's a little bit of a wild swing, especially because it sounds really cool. But like, what was that recent DC Suicide Squad kills the Justice League or something?
yeah, dude.
As cool as that sounded, look at how it turned out.
Yeah, bro, let's we talk about that shit. Jesus. Woo! Woo! Yeah, that was a bad game.
Hopefully,
That it was a bad
hopefully
game.
Wonder Woman is worthwhile.
I'm trusting them with this one because they're using Unreal 5, I'm not mistaken, and they're using similar mechanics to Shadow of Mordor and God of War. So I'm trusting them with this one, you know. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of trust with that one because I do like Shadow of Mordor and I love God of War. Matter of fact, I just got done beating God of War Ragnarok last night. So yeah, like I love God of War. So I'm trusting them with this one. Um, then I heard they're doing an Iron Man. EA's doing an Iron Man game.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, it's supposed to be like I think I'm not sure how far they are with that one, but they already have like a poster for it and everything. I know they're doing that. There's the Captain America game, the 1942 game. They have that where you play as Captain America, Black Panther, Gabriel Jones, and one of the Dora Milaje. And then there's supposed to be a solo Black Panther game coming out, and I just hearing the premise, I'm not feeling the premise. what they're saying with this premise is that you basically play as someone that's supposed to be taking up the mantle of Black Panther. You can either create him as a dude or a female, and you pretty much are taking up the mantle of Black Panther. That I'm not feeling.
Yeah, and see that goes back to what a friend of mine has been complaining about, and like it's funny because he and I think you and I kind of started on. Well, we're kind of still on the opposite, but I'm coming around to certain aspects because I thought um, in the movies that they should not recast, that they should respect, that actor and let that be that for the MCU, that version of the MCU. But they're starting to let that spill out into other stuff that they didn't want to use T'Challa in X-Men 97, and now they're not wanting to use him. By going to 42s, they're not using him. By creating your own character, they're not using him. And it's like, I fully understood paying respect for him and taking him out of the MCU. But how the hell are you just going to straight up take Black Panther out of all of Marvel? It's
Yeah,
like he still has comic book stuff. Yeah, fine. But it's like this character deserves to breathe. The people who love this character deserve to have that character. And it's like, it's very tragic that we lost this guy, but we don't need to go overboard in trying to
yeah,
pay respects for him.
yeah. And I'm gonna say the same thing that his brother said. His brother actually finds it fucked up and insulting that they just overall not even using the character as T'Challa. In fact, even his brother himself, even his brother said that Chadwick would have no problem with recasting T'Challa because at the end of the day, that's like that's a legacy character. That's a character whose legacy shouldn't die with the actor. You should still be able to continue to tell the character story. Because if we can have 10 different people playing Batman, 10 different people playing Superman, what I mean? There shouldn't be an issue with having someone else play the Black Panther. And, you have multiple people playing Spider-Man. I don't think there's an issue with that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're still continuing the character story. It always goes back to what I always say. We have to be able to separate the actor from the characters that they portray. You know what I mean? Hey, yo, what up? Hey, it's my boy Southside. Yo, what up, brother? Appreciate you dropping by, bro. Been a hot minute. But yeah, like I said, that's just my stance on that, is that you should still be able to continue the character's legacy. The character's legacy shouldn't die with just one actor.
And
You know what I mean?
like I said, like originally you and I were like across the table on this because for me, my standpoint comes strictly within the realm of the MCU, and I say the MCU as we know it because I feel like there has to come a day when it ends, when the story ends, when it reaches its climax, and you have
Yep.
to just do a full reboot, not a soft reboot. And when it reboots, yeah, you got to find a new guy. But I feel like for this one, you want to show respect to this actor who passed away suddenly. That's the boat I'm on. But then where I'm coming around to you is like they seem to be taking this out of hand and doing it to
Yeah, no, that part I
everywhere,
agree. Yeah, that part I agree
and it's
with.
like, what the is going on here? You're taking them out of video games. You're taking them out of this. Like,
Yep.
it's like this is a great character, and it's a great character that a lot of people just fell in love with, and you're missing something because this is going to be a lot of kids' character growing up, and you need to give them that character. Like, strike while the iron is hot, and it's like you're missing something.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, that part, yeah, I mean, that point of contention I do agree with, as far as like with them taking them out of video games, or just all medias but the comics. It is getting out of hand. It's getting fucking ridiculous right now. Really, 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 really fucking ridiculous. Like I can't even fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like if it needs a voice actor, it's like yeah, basically anything that needs a voice actor, and it's like, man, this is enough already.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, and that's what I say too. Like, and back to one thing that you did say as far as paying the character, the actor respect. And this is kind of something that I would probably flip on everybody's head with this one. By that logic, they shouldn't have recasted Thunderbolt Ross. And by that logic, they still shouldn't have recasted Spartacus on the TV show. They should have just ended the show right there when the actor died from ironically, the same condition that Chadwick Boseman died from. I always
Well,
use that
I would-
contention.
I would say it's different when it's an old man that dies the way an old man dies. That it's like, yes, it's tragic that you died, but it's the same as Dumbledore. You're old, the show must go on. You know, the Dumbledore actor straight up said, I entered into this knowing I wasn't going to make it to the end.
But what about, but I always say, what about Spartacus? 'Cause keep in mind, when that dude died, he was like 35. He was younger than Chadwick Boseman.
I don't know anything about Spartacus, so I wouldn't be able to give you any kind of informed opinion.
Yeah, look into that whenever you get a chance, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Because they literally recast. Not only did they recast the actor, what they did is they did another season that was a prequel until they could recast the actor, and then they recasted him and did a season 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I always use that argument every single time when someone says that pays respect to the actor, and I'm like, how do you pay respect to the actor? Keep the show must go on, right? There's no problem with it's not disrespectful to recast the actor. I've never seen it as disrespectful because at the end of the day, for one, I'm able to separate the actor from the character. I think you should be able to continue the character story. This character should never die with an actor. To me, that just comes off as very vain. You know, that's how that comes off in my eyes. I see it as just very vain to say, "Oh, well, the actor died with the actor died, so let's kill the character off because no one else can play this fucking character." Which that can be further from the fucking truth. Because I always say this: you never know until you give somebody an opportunity. You know what I mean?
But the flip side to that is like, are you on board with Liam Hemsworth or whichever Hemsworth it is as The Witcher? I mean, if it's just acting and you can replace an actor, then it's like yes, the answer is yes and no, but I think it's situation pending. You have to look at each one and the things surrounding it, and the fact that like Spartacus had been played by an actor before, and this isn't like when it comes to Black Panther, most people's introduction to this character was this man. A lot of mainstream America, like this is how they were introduced to it across the planet, and it was a big thing for them. So I feel like the love and the energy that came across after that movie, like it moved people in a way that other things didn't necessarily move people. And so like in there was a couple replacements throughout the Game of Thrones thing, and you kind of have to just roll with it. That's part of the game, part of the story. It's usually not death related, but
But here's the thing too: is that the script for Black Panther was already done. That's the thing. The script for Black Panther 2 was already done before he died.
Yeah, but I mean, what are our options? Are we going to make the guy who's his friend who doesn't want to make that movie without him be like, well, even though you were all successful and you did all this great stuff, screw you, either make this movie and break your heart because you have to recast this person who's your friend, or kick rocks, you don't get to celebrate your greatness. It's like, I feel like the man who made that movie is the one who kind of gets to be like, I do or don't want to make it this way. And I think, and I feel like there comes a point where it's like we have to respect the people who are involved in the actual making process, because a lot of people who worked with Chadwick didn't necessarily want to recast him. They liked the fact that they got to pay respects to him through this thing, and it's like, I feel like their emotions do matter just as much as the people they're trying to entertain, because it's like, should they really have to go through pain to be able to entertain us? There is a
But
limit to what I feel like somebody should have to endure.
but here's one question I'm going to ask you: what about the family? Because here's the thing: his family had no issue. Hell, Chadwick Boseman himself has even said that he would have no problem if someone else took on the role. Because at the end of the day, because of how influential the character is, you know what I mean? Because of how influential the character was, it shouldn't just stop with just him. The character should be able to be played, you know, for generations. Character should continue to be played. His story should continue to be told. You know what I mean? And I
The
remember seeing
problem
the
with
interview
that,
when he said that. Because I remember an interview when he said that, and even his family even said that, you know, after he died, that they had no issue with them recasting the character. Because at the end of the day, that's what Chadwick would have wanted. That would have been the way to honor him. Is that's what he would have wanted. You get what I'm saying?
the
I'm
thing
not gonna
is, I
turn
don't.
around and like for me personally, if that's what one of my dead friends would have wanted, I would have honored that. That's me. I would have honored it because that's more respect to me. That's more respectful to do than to just dishonor how what my friends' wishes were just because of how the fuck I feel. That's just me though.
Uh,
That's me.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that character would continue. That character doesn't have to live just through one interim, which is the whole point. Going back to what I'm saying is like, because you're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I understand there are a lot of people who feel like you, but there's also a lot of people who are like me, who's like, I don't want to see somebody else step into this same role alongside these same people. Because the thing is, I'm never going to enjoy this actor. He's never going to become Mark Ruffalo, where I just accept him as the new guy. He's always going to be the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. And I feel like you're not doing the MCU any favors by doing that. But I always like when we talk about, DC has a bad habit of doing dumb shit, but then they'll take something from you, but they'll give it to you in another way. So like when they took the New 52, that's when the animated movies heavily based on the New 52 were really starting to ramp up. And when they took away, the Super Sons, that's when they give you the animated movie, the Super Sons. So I feel like the smartest
Oh,
thing you can do is if
don't
you're
bring
going to
that
take
up,
this.
you son of a bitch. Why'd you bring up the Super Sons?
No, it's too late. And it's like, so they take it from you in the comics, but they at
Son of a
least give
bitch.
you some version of it over here, which I believe deserves a sequel.
Dude,
And it's the
I'm
same thing with Black Panther. It's like if you're going to deny people the Black Panther in the MCU, it's like I understand why you're doing that, but you need to understand why they want that character and give them that character someplace else in a really prominent manner. And that's the issue, is like they're doing the exact opposite. They're saying we're going to deny you this over here, and you know what, we're just going to deny you this, period.
Yeah, but here's what's funny is like a lot of people now they're even saying we should have recasted him. There's an asshole of people out there saying they should have just recasted T'Challa like after Wakanda Forever. They're like, why the fuck didn't we just recast T'Challa? I actually thought that was kind of hilarious that a bunch of people said that. You know, like it was
And that
like
that movie wouldn't have been so bad if not for Ironheart, I believe.
nah, I think overall I just would it was just the there's too many fucking plot holes in that fucking movie. Like you were watching it with me, I was pointing out all the goddamn plot holes. Like it was just too many plot holes for my taste. Like within the first 20 minutes, I caught like 10 plot holes. Like, like fuck me. Like Jesus, like you. That's like one of the reasons I was like they shouldn't have recast it because now you're gonna have to rewrite the whole script, and when you have a script that's already perfectly done, and you have to rewrite it, you forget what the fuck you wrote previously, and it just creates fucking plot holes. Too many plot holes to the point where the movie just it just damn near becomes unwatchable. Shoehorn Ironheart was fucking stupid too. I don't even want to get on that. I don't even want to get on that whole shoehorn Ironheart in the fucking movie. I don't even want to fucking get into that because that shit made no fucking sense. It made none. And then and then not
I
only
hate that
that,
damn character.
yeah, I hate the character too. And not only that, here's where they fucked up too. And they fucked it up in the first movie. You ready for this one? Remember when Killmonger burned the freaking the heart-shaped herb, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do know, even if you burn the heart-shaped herb, it'll still grow back. That's part of the freaking lore of the Black Panther comic book. It'll still grow back, regardless if you burn it. And then another fucking point of contention, I thought the heart-shaped herb kept you impervious of any type of fucking diseases. You're immune to all diseases. Yeah, I was done with the movie. I was done when they freaking said, "Oh, he was sick." I was like, "Well, time out. Doesn't the heart-shaped herb turn around and give you fucking make you impervious to freaking diseases?" And furthermore, and I hate to say it, you technically didn't have to kill off T'Challa, because I even pointed this out in the beginning of the movie. You could have freaking froze him in stasis until you found a cure, like you guys did to Bucky. You didn't have to necessarily kill him off. You could have put him in stasis, so that way, if you wanted to recast later on down the line, you're able to do it.
I think they were really banking on a lot of their shit going over better.
Yeah, I was just like, no. And it didn't, because again, they left too many fucking plot holes in that fucking movie. And then you could have even did some shit where T'Challa showed, where you could have had T'Challa show up at the end, but he could have just been in suit, didn't have to show his face. I think that could have worked better. Just my opinion. Like, and I'm saying in the fight Namor, that could have worked.
I mean, like, you know, I get where you're coming from, and because like, you know, I've heard a lot of people who really just wanted the character, and I think it's an easier argument to make retrospectively when you can say, "But look at how bad this was." But I feel like going into it, emotions were still hot. The movie should have come out sooner than it did, but you know, the pandemic and dumbass actors being dumbass actors.
Personally,
So
I would, personally, I would have said, you know what, Mr. Feige, I just need some time before I can finish the script. Because here's the thing, Kevin Feige was willing to give Ryan Coogler as much time as he needed to come back and revisit the project. That's what a lot of people don't know. Is Kevin Feige was actually was giving them the time they needed. You know, if it took a couple years and then come back and then do it, Kevin Feige was fine with it. But I remember watching a whole interview on that. Kevin Feige was okay with it, rather than, you know, wait it out, you know, get your emotion in check, and then turn around and write it. He just said, "No, fucking, I want to finish it." And that's why the movie kind of was a convoluted mess a little bit, because you could tell he was a little emotional, and then go back and really proofread some of the shit, and it kind of shows they didn't really proofread a lot of the shit that they did in the movie and a lot of the fucking script changes they made. And now
you could also put that. You could also put that on Feige, because Feige's been making a lot of shitty decisions, and it seems to me like he's not having a lot of oversee on his people. That he's letting them make these dumb decisions.
No, that is very true, because of the stupid motherfucker that was overseeing Black Man, the dude that was overseeing Black Panther and a couple of these other movies during Phase 4. Oh my god, the fact that that dude got on live TV and even said that in order for a director to be part of these projects, that they had to not be a fan of the fucking comic books. They didn't want fans of the comic book. Like, I'm sorry, what? That should be a prerequisite before you jump into a comic book movie. If not a fan, at least know of the character and are willing to look through the source material and then go from there. Because that's what the source material is for, as reference. Not saying you have to do a full-on adaptation of the actual fucking book, but you use it as reference.
Right. Yeah, no, And what's wild is they seem to not be leaning away from that either.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've noticed that. And the one thing I can say is X-Men 97 goes to prove the point that if you stick to the source material, you're gonna make good shit. They literally prove that point. It's literally the point X-Men 97 just proved. And I mean, if Disney Marvel want to freaking continue to go down that rabbit hole and die on that hill, hey, y'all go right ahead. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Y'all can go right the fuck ahead.
But I don't know if
I know,
you got to wrap up, but I know I got to be wrapping up.
yeah, no worries, man. We can end it right here, man. Yeah, you want to do same time next week?
Yeah, I should be ready.
All right, bet. I'll see if I can come up with something a juicy topic for next week, dude. But yeah, I mean, as always, man, good show, dude. Good show. You know, thank everybody for showing up to my show. Do appreciate it. My boy Johnny D, thank you as always for showing up. And it's your boy Darkstar. I'm going to be signing out. And just always remember, this is a place that's all comics, anime, and all that other nerd shit. Until next time, y'all be safe. Peace.